Terry, Shropshire, First King James. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in.
Good morning, Cass.
Good morning.
The sun is shining, nice and bright. The birds are chirping,
and I'm ready to fly.
Time to get ready
for another day.
No one can stop us. We gon' learn to play.
Oh, every day we learn and play. We do our best, so we'll be great.
You do your best,
and I don't mind.
So let's get ready. Cause it's about that time. Good morning, you good morning. How do you do? Good morning. Time to be great. Good morning.
Your best and play. Good morning. Start today. Good morning.
Open your eyes. Good morning.
Reach for the sky.
Morning to you. Good morning, how do you do? Good morning to you. Good morning, how do you do?
Good morning.
You see me on my grind.
Stars got to shine.
I'm a supernova.
Yeah, you see me taking over. Yeah,
I'm on the move. I got a way to shine too. So let me hear you say, every day we gon' learn to play.
Hey, it's rolling out 8 a.m. and we are the wake up call with First Lady Cass in the city. My super diva there, over there, Miss Keisha Green. And of course, the First King James and Romeo International. Putting the spin on our IG with PV. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Checking in, seeing
what's happening.
It's Tuesday.
A lot going on. A lot we got to get into this morning. So
Get into it.
Hey, Romeo.
Okay.
Hey, Romeo. Now that your president has accepted wearing a mask, maybe you can send him some designs.
Well. First of all, our president. I was about to say something bad, King James. I was about to say, I don't care if this man wear. Let me stop playing. You know what? I'm gonna pass that to Keisha.
I like your hat, Munson.
Thank you.
This morning.
Thank you. I'm clear. I'm good on talking about the dunk. You know, any reaction to the dunk. I'm not cool with it. Thank you. I'm actually enjoying this summer. You know, got a great mindset. Good stuff happening. You know, good music. Everybody's like, Romeo spinning for V. If he spins for V one more time on IG, he's going to start spinning on this show. Because I'm watching him spin. We ain't got enough news posts on there. I just want you to know, I went out on IG, get ready to start posting every day. Y'all got to post more. At least some of our stories I looked up there. What's going on with you, Cassidy? You been keeping yourself busy? We still ain't caught up.
Yes, I've been busy working, but
for someone who doesn't want 15%.
Look, y'all.
She working,
but not like that. Not like that.
They're gonna get you signed.
I'm telling you, every day, Keisha, they don't be here. They be trying to send me to the studio, send me here.
Y'all,
listen, I be having to listen in so I could see how they was coming for you. And I heard them coming for you. That's why I had to let them know this morning. She working.
That's right, I'm working, but I'm doing my job. That's just that.
She's like Tiffany Haddish. She ready.
Look, told you, I have to tell everybody y'all tell. Don't expect too much.
Well, they talking about Erykah Badu and her new company. I mean, that was in the New York Times, so that was happening for all you guys. Man, how she's executing her brand during that beautiful pandemic that we find ourselves, the pandemic summer. So
that's an oxymoron. Beautiful pandemic.
Also,
you know, whatever they call it, Terry, it is what you got, Holmes.
Also, I'm gonna find the post, but your people, King James, Timbaland and Swiss Beats, just signed with Apple Music for Versus as well.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And they did it, and they didn't sell out. You know what I'm saying? Like, hopefully they won't. You know, hopefully they'll be able to protect the sovereignty and the integrity of what they brought. Because so many times when we invent something and then it goes beyond the borders of the community, it becomes contaminated. It gets degraded. It gets, you know what I'm saying? It gets devalued. It gets exploited. And then, worst of all, somebody else makes the money while we go broke. So, you know what I'm saying?
Maxine Waters. How about
that?
Let's
get into the around the watercolor. So we're going to talk about all these topics and everything that's going on right now. And we're all just going to share our opinion. We're going to kick it off with Maxine Waters. We have a video of her where she actually, we'll just play that and then we can discuss it afterwards.
They stopped the brother, so I stopped to see what they were doing.
Right. Oh, okay.
So they say I'm in the wrong place, say they're going to give me a ticket. That's okay, as long as I watch them.
Gotta do what they gotta do, make sure. All right.
Yes.
Auntie Max.
I love her.
Auntie Max.
Auntie Maxine. Yeah, she's always holding everybody accountable. You said, who is she?
Where was her mask?
Oh, I don't know where her mask was.
I don't know where her mask was.
I want my auntie, but I need her to be around for us.
Yes, we gotta send Auntie some masks. She might be looking for some cute ones. That might be it. But Auntie needs to, she didn't have a mask on, but it was nice. She was like, I don't care if you give me a ticket. I'm gonna sit right here and see what y'all got going on. She said, I seen them pull over a brother, and I stopped to see what they doing.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I love her. She's always holding people accountable. She's speaking her mind, and she's doing what she's
on and offward. Yeah, and the fact that, I mean, she was driving. I mean, I'm pretty sure that she wears a mask, but she was driving at the time. She got out of the car.
Hopped out real quick.
Right. It was instantaneous. I know she got in. I know she had a mask in the car somewhere. And if it was a planned situation, she would have had a mask on. But she saw her brother being pulled over. She stopped, hopped, and and checked on him. So I love that spitting fire about
Auntie Max. There's the beat.
Exactly.
And see, it was nice to see my sister don't only turn.
It reminded me of the lady that sit in your neighborhood once and that just sit on the porch, and every time somebody come in the neighborhood, she like, who that? Who driving that car? I don't know that car. She remind me of that lady in the neighborhood all the time.
See, for me, when I seen her, I said, you better turn up. She said she don't only turn up for a check. She turn up for her black brothers, and she ain't playing. She'll take a ticket too.
And she runs the finance committee in Congress. She's a finance chairman in Congress, so,
And she ain't scared. She has never been scared. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's what I love most about her.
See if she could get the dump to pay for that ticket. She's like, give me a
ticket. Or if she didn't have a mask, have the dump get her a mask.
I don't know. Some people need to get a counselor or maybe a mental health checkup. Is Minority Mental Health Month. The list is growing in July. It is growing in front of our face. Well,
the list of celebrities, because many people suffer from mental health issues that we don't know about. So it's just an interesting time because we're seeing a lot of celebrities, kind of experiencing depression, somewhat breaks, suicide attempts. So it's very, it's a crazy time. We saw this with Kanye, obviously, and his whole campaign situation and all the crazy things that he said. We saw it with, Tamar Braxton, and her, suicide attempt, and Nick Cannon, who is, dealing with a lot of backlash right now. And I think he mentioned like he was, kind of depressed. He mentioned a friend. I don't know, someone else can jump in. I don't know much about it.
And all these things are allegedly, and the thing is that I believe that this seriously has a lot to do with the pandemic, You know, you don't know people's level of needing to be in the company of others, you know. The suicide attempts. The suicide attempts were alleged. Why you keep making that face down there, Romeo?
Because the problem I have, because I have to go back and think about the people. And it's kind of hard for me to, you know what? I got $1 billion. I get to go home every night. I get to eat what I want. I get to have a job. I get to be secure. I'm so sad.
No, that's not true. Mental health does not discriminate based on your income.
Yeah,
some mental health disorders are,
yeah,
you know, passed down generationally. Like that doesn't have anything to do with it. A lot of people who are in the limelight go home and they don't have anybody to talk to. They don't have any support system.
Money is
does
not the
bring you
panacea.
happiness.
Money is not the
And
panacea to the problem.
a lot of people like to overlook people that are in the limelight and that are in big places as if they don't have regular human issues, and they do. That's the problem right there. What you just said, Romeo, you think that money changes the issue of having mental and or suicidal thoughts, because you said, I can't imagine having money, going home, being able to eat every night. No, I promise you, it has nothing. The dollar cannot change the mind. It's not going to do that when you're battling those things.
As a matter of fact, Bill Cosby once said in a comedy show that drugs and money happen to exacerbate and amplify your personality. So if you have mental health problems, it's only going to make it worse.
But, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But your status of security does give you a buffer.
You're wrong.
That's not, your status of security doesn't give you a buffer, because there's a lot of people that don't get
No, it does not. You're wrong for that.
Okay.
You're wrong, and that's why there's so many celebrities and people in the limelight battling behind closed doors, because people like you don't allow them to be free to heal out in the public eye because they got money.
Oh, I don't allow them to heal in the public eye. I'm not Kanye West. I didn't get on stage.
No, it's your mindset. Your mindset.
Hold up. All right, let's play a fair game right here. Here's a fair game, so I'm gonna make it easy for everybody to understand. Keisha, Cass in the city, King James. If I, Romeo International, get on stage and say, "Hey y'all, look at me," I can't be mad when people look at me and make a comment. We
that
all
have anything to do with it, though.
The five of us are in the entertainment field. It does have something to do with it when we add sympathy to those who have a comfortable status, and we don't add that same sympathy to those who don't. I'm just saying,
we're talking about minority mental health. We're not just talking about him. We're talking about other celebrities as well that are battling with mental issues.
Must help me
out. What
out.
are you talking about, though, that doesn't have the same level of respect?
I think everybody is having the conversation that needs to happen during mental health awareness. I don't know that anybody is protected from any kind of a disease. I think mental health is definitely like getting cancer. It's definitely something that people can manage with instruction and help. Obviously, there is some, and Terry has these, bouncing words that get long, but there's a definite disparity between poor individuals who are out on the street homeless and don't get the attention nor the donations from those who are obviously celebrity status that share that they have it or that are going through things.
Well, that's not talking about the health disparities. We're talking about how you view people. Okay. We know the health disparities are there based on the African American community. That's obvious. And anybody can suffer from a mental health disorder, whether you're homeless or whether you're a billionaire. We're not saying there's a disparity there. But
I do think that Munson, it brings up a good point that it is akin to cancer in a way, because it basically derives inside of your spirit for years, like a volcano that's simmering beneath the surface, and then one day it just explodes. And so we got to get better at identifying what the problems are earlier, because we could save people. Because right now, Kanye West is having a full mental breakdown. I'm very concerned about what's going to happen right now. But this is years in the making. So we need to be able to identify it earlier in life. That's what so I agree with Munson on that one point.
I think that's true, but I don't think there's a definite box for how people who are suffering with mental health disorders should act. Like, people are experiencing a lot of different things, which none of us are experiencing. So we can't say this is how you should act. None of us can
and money doesn't
or say how that feels. Nothing that can't change what's going on in their head.
I think that's what they were arguing about, Munson, is that Romeo. They think that Romeo said that
money cannot buffer you from a disease.
It's not the panacea to your. It's not the panacea to your problems. It's not a quick fix. It doesn't solve all your problems. As a matter of fact, it might amplify your problems because you have more access and more money to get to, destructive and deleterious
and we talked
activities.
About this yesterday. When you have more money, people don't challenge you. You have a family, and they're like, I don't care. Like, we're gonna have intervention. This is what's gonna happen. When you have money, people are going to, just say, okay, well, this is my boss, whatever. Like, and that's unfortunate. And a lot of people take things for a joke. Like right now, a lot of people are laughing instead of being empathetic or saying like, this is really serious what he's going through.
And people around him just want to check. They're not trying to help him. They're trying to get a check.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of people in celebrity inner circles are not going to keep you accountable.
Oh, let me make myself clear before Keisha give me that side neck face that she's doing right now one more time.
I wonder what Facebook's saying. Let's ask somebody who's not a part of the family. They gotta be saying something.
True, and we're gonna get to that because it hasn't popped up yet on our screen. But I will say I agree with the both of you guys. I deal with my daily how I deal with my daily, but I'm not gonna pretend that the status, and we're just talking celebrity. I'm not gonna pretend that the status of these celebrities and the security that they have does not allow them to have a better way of dealing with a situation outside of someone who does not. If I get to go home, just seeing people deal with the pandemic every day and the struggles that they deal with every day, and I know they don't got a security. We know that. We see it. We know they have a secure foundation.
We're gonna take this up. You guys got a guest waiting, so let's not keep the guest waiting. Good morning. This is Rose.
Wow, he's real early.
We got a great debate going. I think you can take us through the show. So keep that point, Romeo. And we've got Ronnie Green. So
where Ronnie at? Ronnie?
Come on, cousin.
Ronnie, you got to actually turn on the mic.
Well, Terry, introduce Ronnie real quickly while we're waiting.
Well, Ronnie Green is a professional, one of the few and rare professional fishermen, black fishermen, award-winning fishermen out there in the world today, because I know that a lot of people get up and they watch ESPN, bass fishing and things of that nature, but you never see any person of color. And he is one of those people, just like in golf, just like in soccer. It's a rare sighting. You think it's a UFO, but it's real. It is Ronnie Green. And so he has been the host of award-winning CBS sports specials that have aired regarding fishing and the world that we live in today, such as racism and fishing. So we wanted to welcome Ronnie Green to our show right now. Good morning, Ronnie Green.
Good morning. How you doing?
Everybody live
and ready to roll.
Welcome.
That's right. So, I'm a avid fan of fishing. I'm an avid fan of water sports. So talk to us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the game, and then how you went about becoming a professional fisherman.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on the show. Where it all started was when I was a young man. I started fishing with my dad, and it was I have 2 other brothers and 2 other sisters. My dad would take us out fishing, and he liked fishing, but he taught us enough just to graduate with fishing with my great-grandmother. My great-grandmother is the one that helped me hone my skills as a fisherman. But at the same time, she also would talk about things that were very difficult when we were isolated out on the water waiting for the fish to bite. Hence, that's where a fishing story started. So she was, a generation or 2 removed from slavery. So she had some incredible stories about fishing. And so people talk about fishing, and I hear a lot of African Americans speak to me about, hey, man, I don't see a lot of folks that look like you in fishing. But here's the reality of the truth to all of that is that's where it all started. We were part of the legacy of starting in fishing. And when I say the legacy of starting in fishing, George W. Snyder, the first American to patent a reel, and that was in 1820, still a slave. So there's a lot of significance to us getting back to our roots.
That doesn't surprise me anymore.
Absolutely.
That doesn't surprise me anymore. How many inventions that we come up with, how many things that we, how innovative we were, and we get absolutely no credit, and we find out hundreds of years later, and somebody else has made the money off of our inventions, our brilliance. But then again, we built this nation and got no money. So I'm not surprised. So let me step down from my podium and give the floor back to Mr. Green, sir. Sorry about that.
Yes. So as far as my professional side, I was a former officer in the United States Marine Corps. And after that,
I was in the Air Force, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Right. San Antonio, Texas is where I grew up. The great state of Texas there. And then, which is right down the street from Lackland Air Force Base.
That's where I was at.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then in addition, I went into medical device sales as a sales manager for 16 years, where I honed my skills even further, very successful. But the entire time, and let me take a step back. While I was in college at Texas Tech University, I was also an All-American sprinter in track and field. Come from a family of athletes, as well as, got that church background. Dad was a pastor, so I was practically.
Oh, you a PK?
I have so much in common. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, stop, Cass, stop.
Y'all do. You're a PK. He's a PK. Y'all.
See, I was feeling that. I was feeling that anointing from you, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, well, thank you, sir. Thank you.
No, but actually, all along my life, in my life's journey, I always kept fishing and the prowess that my great-grandmother taught me as my backdrop for helping me deal with life. So when I needed to escape through the difficulties of life and difficult things in the Marine Corps, whether it was corporate America, there was always that fishing outlet. And I kept that as my way of having some therapeutic value to my life to escape from whatever was going on in the world. And this day, go ahead.
No, I was good. No, please finish that. I'm sorry. I thought you was going to pause.
No. And so that's my journey. That's how it all started.
I see. So before we get into how you went, took it from just a hobby and just a cathartic exercise into something professional that perhaps the Atlanta Falcons need to do, because they go fishing while everybody's in the playoffs. But we're not going to go there every year. But Amir Shaw ain't here to defend himself. That's why I said it. But he'll get me back tomorrow. But I wanted to talk about how you make that trajectory from, just something that's as a hobby to something that you wanted to do professionally, because it is very cathartic for people to go out and go fishing, see nature. There's something healing about being on the water and fishing. So talk about the healing properties of it, especially in these volatile times, and then get into how you decided to go professional with it.
Well, that is a really good point, because you talk about the healing, and I didn't launch out into the deep and become a professional fisherman until the very difficult transition in my life. We're full of life's moments where it turns you one way or the other. You can go far north or you can go really far south. And I lost my mother unexpectedly, but on her deathbed, we had some very in-depth conversations. She was a young woman, like 58. And while she was on her deathbed, she told me, Ronnie, you're killing yourself. I know you love this money in corporate America, making money in medical devices, this, that, and the other. But Mama's going to tell you, and this is the way she talked to me like a little boy. She says, do what you love. I said, well, Mama, I don't know what that is. While I'm snorting and snotting and crying and boohooing and all that good stuff. And we're going through so much, knowing that she was transitioning. But she said, promise me that you won't kill yourself. Do what you love. And when she left me with that, not knowing what that was, I found myself, after she transitioned, fishing every single day in the heat in Florida, like 12 hours a day for therapy, just to deal with the incredible grief that I was doing. And I was 100% mama's boy and still will be. And I always wear that badge really proud. But at the end of the day, that therapeutic value that I was getting from fishing every single day, 12 hours. And I mean, that's a long time to be out in the sun on the water, drinking water here or there, not even eating sometimes. But it was a way for me to deal with grief. And at the end of the day, I was also helping to enhance my prowess as a fisherman. So I entered some tournaments. And lo and behold, I started winning some tournaments.
And you found out you had skills. No, go ahead, Keisha.
Mr. Green, let me ask you this, because you said some really, really key points here. I'm like, this is a straight man of God, because he been using some words here that just says he's a man of God. He said, I didn't launch out into the deep. Okay. But you said something early on, and you talked about how your great-grandmother, she actually poured a lot into you. But you said it was while waiting. It was while being out in the water waiting. Like, I hear so many different things in that. Can you kind of like talk about those things that she taught you and the things that really, really stuck with you, that while you were waiting, you know, the patience of waiting for what it is that you're going to catch?
Well, the interesting thing about that is I don't have a lot of patience, at least when I was younger. So I was all over the place. And so my dad would say, if you start running around on mama, he called her mama, let me tell you what, she's going to wear you out, boy. So you better just listen what she says and stay there. My great-grandmother's a very religious woman. She would go fishing in a dress with stockings on, sitting there.
That was my grandmother.
Come on. And I would learn so much, but then she would talk about things like the Great Depression. She would talk about segregation. She would talk about W.B. Du Bois. She would talk about some of the heroes that she grew up around that was not discussed. So I learned more about history from my great-grandmother than I learned in school. So there were so many different things. And then she added a spiritual element to it so that I understood where all of that matched up with my life now. Hence, that's literally where I learned so much. And so I would come back, every time I come back with fishing with my great-grandmother, I'd go right to my mom and my dad, and I'd say, Mama, did you know such and such and such? She's like, boy, where are you getting this information from? I was like, Granny, was I not supposed to know all this? And
soaking it up like a sponge.
Yes, and everyone would laugh. We got a huge family. So I would soak up the information about all of these things in our family, even the dark secrets. Every family has them in our family.
Woo! Testify.
Okay?
We testified right now.
And so I would learn, did you know that Uncle so-and-so and your great-great-uncle was such and such, and your great-great-auntie was raped by such and such and such and such? Did you know that such? And so I learned some very difficult, dark places, but you got to learn it all, because we're all the sum total of all of our life's experiences. And I feel like that's really what makes me who I am and got me to the place to where I am, especially going in the Marine Corps. As a Marine officer, you know, the Marine Corps was the last to integrate services. And so for me to put on a rank as an officer in the United States Marine Corps, I went through some difficult things that most people would expect to experience in the 40s and 50s. So at the end of the day, all of these things, I did not realize that was my assignment from God. Is my great-grandmother was my angel teaching me about what you're getting ready to go through. So I hope I answered your question,
Wow.
Keisha.
Yes, and that was amazing. Cass.
Cassidy?
Story, like Keisha said, like Terry said, everything is just, you know, it was meant for you to do this. And I love that your mom, you know, told you to follow your passion, because a lot of people do, you know, spend a life in a job that they are not fond of, and it stresses them, and, you know, ultimately stress kills. But I want to talk a little bit about, I mean, a fishing story. I love how you said it came about, but, you know, you have this television show, and you also, you know, have done or are working on this 2-part special, The Difficult Decision, exploring racism. So I'd love for you to just talk about that and how it came about, because like you said, you're in this industry, and it's not many, we don't see many, you know, professional, you know, fishers out there. So just talk a little about you touching on race right now.
So that's a great question. And the thing about it is the fishing industry business model, bass fishing professionally, is built similar to NASCAR, almost identical. Yeah. Same type of model where you see people wearing patches and all sorts of different sponsors and so on and so forth. So it has a lot of the same business culture. So let's just say there is a handful of people, less than 5, that are doing it that looks just like me for a living. And I am the only one that looks like me that has a TV show in the fishing industry. Now, when I came out and did my show, I was approached by a producer who saw me on stage, and I give a little inspirational anecdotes to people while on stage, while everybody else is talking about their sponsors. And while doing that, she caught me off stage, and she saw me at another presentation in my other industry, so to speak, at a national sales meeting. She was a part of the production team doing all the audio visual, and it's a big to do with when they do, it's a big production. And I said, well, this is weird. You were in Texas at this place when I was doing this now, and here you are in Plattsburgh, New York. And she says, well, you're a host. I said, no, ma'am, you got the wrong person. I'm not a host. I just love the fishing. She said, no, sir. You are, and she literally spoke it with confidence. So I went home, discussed it with my wife. I said, honey, I don't understand all this. What is all this going on? And she says, well, you need to listen to what she says. So I submitted all the information and video, and the rest is history. And we started a fishing story. I wrote a 28-page business plan, did all the legal paperwork, took all of my corporate America experience, because I never have been in TV, and I just applied it in principle to where I was going. So a lot of things are always applicable. And one thing I do know how to do is manage people and project management to a certain degree. And we just took it and ran with it, and a fishing story was born.
Wow. I see. But to reiterate her question, Kaz, talking about integrating today's times into what you were doing for the show, where you had celebrities, you guys were on the boat fishing, talking about today's tumult. Could you elaborate on that a little bit, please?
Yes. So it was called the difficult discussion. And where the difficult discussion comes from is all of the things going on in our country. As you can see, we have a very difficult pandemic going on. And you got a lot of idle time by a lot of folks. You got social media, and you got cameras. And why is that so important? Because that is the perfect storm for a lot of things to go on. And what my great grandmother used to say, idle time, it uses
it's the devil's playground.
Come on. And as you can see, there's so much going on. And then we have a lot of race relations issues going on, and nobody in my industry was talking about it. So I said, well, the Marines are always first, so why not be first here? So we're going to go out and talk about the difficult discussion, talking about race in America. So I've got 2 Caucasian gentlemen who are prominent fishermen, professional fishermen, and 2 African Americans. And we all sat and had a conversation. Now, the way we framed it was we started with belief systems, because everyone has a belief system, and we got agreement on what a belief system and where it comes from. Then we graduated to the next level, which was narrative, which is an account of something, but sometimes infused with a belief system. So I can see something and you can see something, but we may see the different things because of the belief system that's infused in our mind. So we talked about things like Colin Kaepernick. We talked about things about police brutality. And then we also shared experiences. They did not know that I had an experience of, and I'm a survivor is the word that I use, of police brutality in college, riding in college, being stopped. And so we had some difficult conversations, but it was very productive because we found a place, because we all can agree that we're great friends. And you always want to sit with someone that, first of all, has a perspective outside of a small little focus area. You want them to have a broad understanding of the world. And everyone had that. And so I felt like it was a great place to have a dialogue. And that's where we started with the difficult conversation.
Absolutely.
Mr. Green.
Well, I wanted to talk about, no, absolutely. Before we go back to you, Keisha, I just wanted to cover a couple things on Facebook. We've gotten some comments, and there's one woman named Connie Cross who wanted to know if you are mentoring any young Black men to get into the fishing industry, the gaming industry, and if not, are you going to do it in the near future? And then the second question, somebody wants to know where they can find the show, because it's already aired earlier this month, but they can go back and find it again. So if you could answer those 2 questions right quick.
Sure, I'll start with that. The first answer to that question is I'm sorry, let's hear that first question again.
The first question is, comes from Connie Cross on Facebook. She says, "Are you mentoring young Black men to get into fishing?
Yes, yes.
As a sport, as a profession, and
Yes.
if not, are you going to do it in the future?" Okay, go ahead.
Yes. So we are mentoring young men, and we've started a foundation named after my mother. Her middle name was May. And so we started what is called the May Foundation, May Youth Foundation. What we do is help mentor young men that are in underserved communities that have never been exposed to the outdoors, so they understand you don't have to become a professional fisherman. You can be a cameraman, you can be an attorney, you can be so many different things in the industry. So don't feel like you have to be pigeonholed into this, I've got to become a professional fisherman, because there's so many different things that you can learn, and that's what we do. But with the pandemic, of course, we've slowed down, and we're going to wait until things slow down where we feel comfortable bringing kids around. But I think we've got several schools that we've adopted, Charter 1 schools and so on and so forth, that we are talking to students, and we're going to give them incentives so that they can actually be there. We're going to provide. Are there any
particular states or cities?
Yes, Tampa, Florida is where we're starting, and we'll be doing it at local little ponds and lakes and just basic groundwork. Then there's a mental health component as well, because that gets back to my mental health as it related to the devastation of losing my mother.
It is apropos because it is Minority Health, Mental Health Month.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, so I think that that's so important. And people need to understand, why are we so related to water? Why do we feel so comfortable around water? Well, I don't want to get too deep with everybody, but at the end of the day, our body is made up of 60% water. So every single time you go out on the water, you are feeling some kind of kindredship to the water. And if you want to even get deeper, for those of you that try to get so deep and get spiritual, we can go to Genesis and say, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the water, and God said, he spoke while on the water. So there is something there, and it hasn't changed. We just got to recognize how to go and utilize everything that we have on this earth that God gave us.
Mr. Green, you know you are a true fisherman, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You are a true fisherman. I am just like, this man is full of wisdom, knowledge. Your light is just so amazing. I just want to say thank you. I also want to thank you for understanding that ministry doesn't always come from the pulpit, but that you can do ministry through the media. So I'm just so grateful for you being willing to take upon that platform to be a vessel and to be used. And I just truly know that you are going to change so many lives. And you're a fisherman. You catching more than fish. Yeah. So I'm honored to meet you this morning.
There was somebody else. There was somebody else you might know of that was able to do some fishing, help people learn to fish. He was in the Bible. He had some disciples. You know what I'm saying?
Sir.
So.
Yes, sir. And the thing about it is, somebody asked me that, why was he able to draw so many people? You know why he chose fishermen? Because they have an open mind. If there's one thing you can't predict, is a fish, because it has the brain of the size of a pea. But if you have the patience and the ability to understand that you got to go with the fish and all the changing conditions so you can catch them, then you're able to be a disciple, because you can follow me, because there's going to be a lot come at you, and you got to be adaptable and be able to change so you can fish for people.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
You better use that gift.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Woo! You gonna about to really over here like.
Let people know where they can find it. And
yes. Oh, yes. It is on CBS Sports every single Monday at 10 a.m. And we are going to have a special airing the first week in August. We are going to run the Difficult Discussions parts 1 and 2 back to back on our website. And so stay tuned at A Fishing Story TV.
What is that website? Okay.
afishingstory.com.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it sounds like something good that veterans could benefit from as well. I can really see this with Black vets. I really could see taking Black vets out and letting them also be a part of your program. I mean, I see that. I mean, I think
that's a good idea.
We are doing that.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
I can see some peace coming, some calm, some brotherhood, and some testimonies of being able to share with their comrades at that moment.
And Yeah,
just wanted to share that with
idea.
you. Thanks for coming on Rolling Out AM, the wake up call. We appreciate you. Thanks for your service.
Thank you.
Take care.
All righty.
Good morning.
Rolling Out AM, the wake up call. Romeo International, Cast in the City, Keisha Green, and the first King James. Great story.
Yeah, that was a great story because it took
story,
something.
definitely.
Yeah, exactly. I enjoyed it too because it was unique. And as Keisha so expertly said, it was ministry outside of the pulpit, and you is something that we all can do easily.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't cost much money. Just find you a lake and a boat, rent a boat, take you a fishing line, and go out there and have and meditate and be in with God, one with God, and then at the same time it helped to heal yourself and other people. So yeah, that was great, Keisha.
And it's
Thanks
a perfect time. It's like right now is the perfect time to go out there and just spend a day on the water.
Yeah.
You
ever been fishing before, Romeo?
Anointed man of God right there. Romeo. You was trying, Romeo.
Well, first of all, I don't want to get beat up by the two of y'all. I have been fishing before. It was very nice. And plus, I fish every day. I'm a fisherman.
All right. Real fishing. Bring your fish.
Sorry,
I see you fishing 12 a.m.
Anyways, for people who have actually been on a boat fishing to get a fish.
Okay.
Hey, no. You talk about my 12 a.m. show, but check this out. But
Keisha, I thought that not to get the message lost, but I thought that you brought some great points in terms of him being a man of God and using the fisherman as a he's definitely anointed because he's one of the few to do it, and he's on a major television show spreading the word of God, helping to heal and using the platform to heal and also to help other people get into the business and mentoring young Black men. So I just wanted you to elaborate on your point about this being an anointing right here.
I just absolutely love that because that's kind of what I do too. And back in the days, they used to be like, oh, you got to be bold for Christ. You got to be bold with it. And it's so amazing how if you're just willing to just kind of not get in where you fit in, but use your gifts and your platform to be a vessel and to come forth, you are able to reach more people than a person that's from the pulpit. I would even tell ministers sometime hey, just go live and shoot a regular plain video from your house. People want to know you and they'll grasp to that more. So when people have things that they fall in common with you, I'm watching a show and I don't fish. But I'm watching the show because the man is anointed. Yeah. He got power. Listen to what he's saying, and he's not just teaching the people how to catch fish.
So real quick on Facebook, Jacinda Chin checking in. She says, thank you, King James, for having Ronnie Green on this morning. Karen Venza, Janetta Washington, that was wonderful. As we keep going, Connie Cross, amen, preach, Ronnie Green. Barbara Fields, much needed, Ronnie. Thanks for your dedication to our much needed future. Our Black men are important. So Facebook is really, really blowing up. And right now we have a special guest that's going to check in. This young lady, I really wanted her to be a part of this morning. And I'm so glad that Mike Tyson, Cast in the City, and Floyd Mayweather, Keisha Green are on this morning with us, King James, because this is the reason that this is important.
All right.
So, matter of fact, I'm gonna let her introduce herself, and then I'm gonna introduce herself. Go ahead, Dan.
Take yourself off mute, Daniela. Oh, take yourself off mute. Can you hear us? No, you gotta take yourself off mute. It's in the lower left-hand corner. It should be.
Are you frozen? You might want to have to.
Might need to reconnect.
So while she's reconnecting, Danny Alexander is a popular, very, very popular model, actress. There you go.
There she is.
There she is.
You got to hit the mute button.
Still on mute, I believe.
She's not.
Oh, you're not? Okay. No?
She just muted it back. Try it again.
Okay, there you go.
We can't hear you.
I can't hear you though.
Okay. I'm telling y'all, man, this Zoom thing is a freaking lesson.
The audio settings can sometimes be a little off.
Yeah.
So we're definitely looking forward to her coming back.
So what's up with your girl, man? What's up with her?
Before you said she was a model, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is very important. She's a model, actress, and socialite. Very, very popular in Atlanta and LA. And recently, are you back? We can't hear you.
No, we still can't hear you.
Try like where there's a little microphone. You might have to adjust, your speaker at the bottom. You might have to grant access to it.
Or turn your volume up on your phone. Is your volume up? I hear that. Unless that's somebody else.
You have headphones on?
So this is while she's figuring that out. So this is why it's very important, King James.
Yeah.
So she disappeared.
Okay.
Off the face of the planet for like a month, like immediately, and nobody didn't know why.
She went radio silent.
Correct. Come to find out, she was actually dealing with COVID.
Oh.
She was actually going through doctors' appointments, symptoms, being at home, and like nobody knew where she was. And what was interesting to me is that we always talk about this all the time, where when it comes to millennials cats in the city, 18 to 35, nobody attaches a face to people that we see every day. So this is why this became important. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, she always can hear us.
We can't hear you.
Do you have headphones? Do you have headphones that you can plug in?
Okay. There's like a near the microphone at the bottom. You have to select like your AirPods.
She said she did.
Try turning those off.
Yeah, maybe take.
Maybe just speak. Maybe just speak.
AirPods.
Yeah, maybe just speak directly to us. Nothing. That's the most interesting thing here.
That's interesting.
Now you're on mute. It says. Built-in microphone. Maybe try that. And unconnect your AirPods.
Well, first she has to take it off mute, though, right?
Yeah, take it off mute again. Where did she go?
So this is why this was so important to me, because during this time, I know we always talk about, the process of COVID. We always talk about the celebrities that are going through that we don't see, but we rarely get an opportunity to talk about the people we know, like Jessica, the DJ that Amir brought up, Tracy Steele. So when Danny announced that she had it, when she announced that she had it, she actually posted her test. She actually posted the symptoms. And then from there, it became like a very super trend. So I saw the little X pop up.
Can you say something, see if we can hear you?
Is she connecting with the audio? With internet audio? I don't think she can even hear us this time.
Right. Okay, I see a check mark.
She's saying no. She can't hear us.
No.
She's not connecting the internet audio.
Yeah.
When she logs in, when she comes in and she disconnect her AirPods and she logs out and comes back in, she needs to connect with internet audio.
So I'm going to check in. King James come back. I'm going to check in. I'm going to see if I can help with this before we move on to the next segment.
Absolutely. So we can transition now, Keisha, but I definitely enjoyed Terry's guest earlier. I think he, really had a connection, to water, to his craft and what he does, and to life and how those all intersect. So I really enjoyed guests like that. And like you mentioned, like when you came on, you had the same impact, on us, like with your story. So I definitely enjoyed those, guests. And like you said, ministry doesn't come in one form. It doesn't have to be a everyday thing, but if you impact someone,
I wish like anything that we do that really is truly changing the lives of other people and make them want to be better and do better. That's truly ministry, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes people like to package it up like what it should look like. Like truly, when we get Danielle back on her, she's gonna change somebody's life. She's gonna change somebody's outlook. And I think in the beginning, even though so many people were getting sick and dying from the corona, and not the switch it up, I think a lot of us didn't have that personal person that we knew that was actually sick. And it's crazy because now as the time goes on, it's touching like closer and closer to home, and it's people that we really know that are coming on and saying, hey, you know, I've tested positive. I know people, and I know several people. I know one of my friends, she was just in Miami. I seen her friends turning up, okay, and then she had to shut her business
Can you hear us?
I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Oh, thank God. Yes. Hey. Hercules. Oh my
goodness. Yay.
So we're gonna go through this because I want you to tell your story. But a good friend of mine, so like I said, she disappeared, and when she came back, she actually posted her test. But during this time, and you know, Daniel, I'm gonna let you say it. I don't want to like put you out there, but during this time, Keisha, she was still going to casting calls. She was still going to club events. Like she was still doing her life full active, not knowing that she had contracted it from wherever until it actually hit her one day. So
her story is imperative. Her story is imperative because we need to find out and be leveled with the hammer of the truth about what this thing does to you and what permanent damage it can do if it not take your life. So we need to know.
So if you feel comfortable, drop your age and how this happened.
Okay, so I'm 24, turned 24 in March. This happened about like, a month ago, he's right. I was very asymptomatic. I didn't feel anything at first. I was around people who have gotten sick and claimed to have gotten the antibodies. And they're like, yeah, apparently if you have the antibodies, you can't get it again. No, wrong. You can definitely get coronavirus 2-3 times. Wow. And it comes back every time. So I tested positive. It was 3 weeks ago I tested positive, and it was a drive-through nasal swab test. And I felt fine that day. The day before, I just had like a horrible migraine, and I had a fever and chills. So I was like, either I have coronavirus or I'm sick, but I didn't feel any other symptoms. So when I got tested, I felt nothing. And I was actually shocked it came back positive. And then after I got tested, it was when all the symptoms kicked in. The migraines didn't stop for about like a whole week, 7 days. And they're not like easy migraines. They're like literally the top of your head hurts and the left side of your face hurts. And it hurts your teeth. It hurts like your eyes. I could not keep my eyes open. I could not focus on a computer screen. I literally had to be in my room with my blackout curtains and literally going to sleep to like make that go away. And then after that, you lose taste and smell about the 3rd day. What else happens? Your body hurts. It's like your bones. Like I literally I broke my hip in a car accident when I was 18, and I felt the same pain, like in my hip where I had fractured it. It was so weird, y'all. And fever stops after the 2nd day, but the headaches continue. What else happens is you lose taste and smell. I still don't have mine back. I have my smell back, but not my taste really on things. You taste just like salty and sweet. Honestly, it was just like a horrible experience. I didn't know what to do. All I was taking was Tylenol, and Tylenol was not helping. The only thing it really helped with is your fevers, but your headaches literally are consistent. Nothing helps it. No Excedrin, like nothing. And then it gets you really congested. Thankfully, I did not develop a cough because I had a humidifier in my room, and I was constantly having water in that with Vicks VapoRub. And I think that helped me a lot with not like developing anything in my chest. But the headaches made me have like vertigo to the point where I would like walk around or try to go on walks, and I would feel like I was gonna pass out.
Can you tell us about the test, like the the time span from the test, the first test to the symptoms kicking in?
Okay, so I've always been pretty paranoid with this virus. I was always washing my hands, always like putting hand sanitizer on. I would wear a mask. So I either got it from hosting clubs or just being around people who had it and claimed to have the antibodies. But I've actually gotten like 3 tests done. The first one was negative, the second one was positive, and then the third one was negative, which is my most recent one I took last Saturday. And the first one was a blood test, and it came out negative in my blood. The second one was the nasal swab. It came out positive, but that's when I had no symptoms, so I really don't know. And then the third one was a finger prick, and everything came out negative. And I did not develop antibodies.
What made you do the first test, the blood test that came out negative?
I was feeling congested and I felt really weird already, but I was like, maybe it's not coronavirus, but I was very paranoid about it. So I went and got a blood test and it came out negative.
Gotcha.
I want you to describe, I went and got tested early on because I was coughing and I tested negative, but it was just a precaution. So for people who haven't experienced the nasal swab, kind of describe what that's like. Or what it's like for you.
It was a very unpleasant experience. I'm going to tell you that. They actually let me do the nasal swab by myself where I went. I went to a location. It was a Walgreens drive-through location where you had to book an appointment. And I had to book an appointment about like 2 weeks before. Now they don't have appointments at all. Yeah, no. So you drive up to the place. And I think like the nurse or whoever it is, they put a little cart up to your window. You have to have your window up. And then she'll tell you to lower your window after she explains the instructions to you. So what you do, you take a swab from the little container and you put it inside your nostrils. But she says it has to go an inch deep. And then you put it all the way up in there. You have to twirl it around 5 times in one nostril. Take it out. Put it in the other nostril. Up, like literally like up to here, y'all. Like I felt it like in my eyeballs. And weird. Then you twirl it around 5 times. I literally started crying. It was horrible.
And you did that to yourself?
I did it to myself.
Yeah, see, that's the craziest part because I'm like, they didn't even offer me to do it myself because I don't even think I could put it. It's like so
it's
long.
huge.
Like I don't even know how you would do it yourself because I would be like, I'm not going that far up my head, like it's crazy. But go ahead, Romeo.
I love you. I love you. Outside of the person that we need on that bridge, I love you. But my question is, and we don't want to, me, Cass in the City, Keisha Green, we don't want to put nobody out. But let's have a real conversation about the club scene. Let's because people still partying, people still are promoting clubs. And you at one point were, I'm not going to say naive, but you were at one point was just like, I'm going to go and do my hosting. Give us a real honest opinion about how you feel about the club scene. Is it safe?
Hell no is my answer. I was definitely naive. I have a lot of friends that own clubs here in Atlanta. And I literally, before I got on here, I was like watching everyone's story. Red Martini's packed. Republic's packed wall to wall. There's no social distancing. Either people are getting it from, they check your temperature when you walk in, but also, like I said, you can be asymptomatic like me and have no symptoms, but you could be sick. And then another thing is people are sharing hookahs, bottles, like it's disgusting. And like your spit when you like smoke a hookah and you, even if you pass it on to the other person, there's still your spit in the hose. Yeah, I don't know what people are like, don't think about that. And even if they wash it, you have to wash it with rubbing alcohol. Like not just whatever you do, stick it in the dishwasher. Like the club scene is honestly the most dangerous thing right now. And I think clubs should be shut down again.
Now, even though you're talking like this now, let me ask you, I want you to have the true, real conversation that you were having in the beginning with yourself when clubs opened before you got the virus? Like, what were you saying? Like, oh no, I'm good. This is not that bad, because you had to tell yourself something to put yourself in that environment to feel free to be able to continue to work and contract the virus. Was it financial decision, or was it just truly like, yo, I'm out here?
At first I was really excited to just get back to work. And then the other thing was just like, I have no friends who are sick, so I didn't really believe in the virus, as ignorant as that really sounds. But I was like, I don't have any friends that are sick. I don't know anyone who has coronavirus. Like, this thing's not real. But then I started having friends that get sick, and then I got sick, and honestly, like, I was traumatized from the experience. You will not catch me in a club for months. You will not see me outside. I'm like afraid to go to dinner at this point.
Hey Cass, you on her Instagram story, and before you get out of here, Keisha, you made a post that caught my eye. You said that a lot of people have it and they're not telling people, and they're just going about their life and not sharing the fact that they have it and allowing people around them. I saw you post something similar to that. Why do you think that 18, like you said, you're 24. Why do you think that 18 to 25, why are they not sharing the fact? Is it really like Keisha said, do they really just want to be out in the streets? Is that what it is?
Yeah, honestly, people just don't believe that people have the virus, so they're literally out here in the streets. They probably all have it, honestly, that have been in the club, and they're just spreading it to each other, and then they're not going to believe it until they start feeling symptoms. And the other thing is, the people with my age, which I think is like very selfish, whenever I got sick, I talked to people that I literally hung out with in the last month, and I was like, hey, I think you should go get tested, I'm sick. But a lot of people don't have that like thing in their conscience, and they didn't like, they don't tell people that they're sick. So at first I was like, I'm not really going to speak about this on my platform. And then I was like, nah, like I need to say something, because like I just keep seeing people at the club, like even my friends, and they're just like, I'm not sick, so I don't feel like I need to go get tested.
You like, you were just with me.
Literally a friend who I hung out with 24 hours before I had a fever. And he was like, well, where should I go to get tested? And I recommended Regions. But there you have to pay at least $100, but like $100 or a $100,000 hospital bill. So he was like, I just feel like it's so pointless for me to go pay for a test. And I'm like, literally, I'm like, would you rather pay a hospital bill? He's like, well, I don't feel anything. And I was like, well, I didn't either, but you're over here hanging out with everybody going in the club.
Okay, hold on.
And like, to each their own.
That I didn't know. Y'all know that you have to pay for the test?
No, there's free testing.
Oh,
there's free testing.
There's street testing. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Romeo.
No. I was with y'all. I was shocked for a second. I was like, I gotta pay for you to tell me I'm sick.
The thing.
Go ahead, Keisha.
Romeo, you said something that I just feel like it was a question that was like goes without asking. You asked her, why do you think people aren't telling people that they got the virus? Do you know how many people got HIV/AIDS?
Right.
Are you serious? You for real right now?
But we gotta give you a round of applause for taking the responsibility to tell your friends. At least you told the people that you were around, hey, y'all need to go get tested. Now, if they didn't take that serious, I mean, that's on their ass. But last question before you get out of here. Did you have to change your household? Like, do you live by yourself, or did you have to change your household?
So I actually moved back into my parents'. So yeah, I didn't have to change my household. Literally, it's stuff that you have to use your own bathroom if you get sick. Do not use bathrooms that you share with anybody in your household. I would recommend, like, this sounds really depressing, but you need to stay in your own room, like, the whole time. And if you go downstairs or anything like common area with people, use a glove and mask. Change your sheets probably like 3 times during the week. Change your towel, change your toothbrush. wash your bathroom, have Lysol in your room, have rubbing alcohol in your room. If you could put it in a spray bottle, that's even better. Just constantly sanitize doorknobs, anything you touch, sanitize. Because it's so easy for somebody else to get sick. And I actually got my mother sick, which made me panic because she's older. She's 60. She just turned 60. And oh my God, like I panicked. But thankfully she's okay. She tested negative. Like she's getting better, getting her smell back and her taste back. But the thing you said about having to pay for tests, if you want a test like done ASAP to know that you're sick, yeah, you need to pay for it, because these drive-through CVS tests, even the health department, they are weeks. I'm not kidding, like weeks and weeks behind until you can get a testing date.
So did you get your results the same day or the next day because you paid for it? Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. You get it in 15 minutes.
Okay. I see.
Look at Keisha. Me and Keisha the
yeah,
same
because
thing.
right now, because testing, so many people are going to get tested, it's like being prolonged for probably like 2 weeks.
Oh, longer.
So in that time, you can definitely infect some people. If you don't.
Thank you for sharing that information with us on today. Like,
you know, I appreciate you. I know when I reached out to you, it was all because of love and the fact that I knew you have an honest opinion, and you got a lot of people that follow you. And we, me and Cass be on this all the time about, more people need to share their stories that are like just normal, like just, hey, this is just me normally. Tell everybody where to follow you, how to keep up with you, and things like that.
Okay. My IG is at Danny, DANI Alexander with RE at the end and then the number 1. And if you guys need to go get tested, I definitely recommend Regions on Far Road. I do follow them.
Okay. Thank you so much, man.
They're called Region Care Plus.
Oh.
So
thank you for sharing that.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate you, Danny, man. You can go back to bed now. I'll check it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for
Be
coming.
safe out
Take
here.
care.
Thank you. Bye.
And that's the reason that I wanted that story this morning, Keisha, because these MFs, they still partying, and they not like she said, she was just doing her everyday thing, Cassidy. She was just
the
doing
thing is,
I mean,
if the clubs aren't open, then people aren't going to want to party. So the club is not an essential place that people need to go right now.
I
so they
see
really
a lot
shouldn't
of
be
people
open.
making their own parties though too, like
that too. But
taking trips. I see women paying to go on like empowerment and business development trips, and it's just really, really crazy. And I've seen some of my people go and get tested that's been sick, and I ain't see them post their results, but I know they sick. I know those pictures you've been posting. I know what professional pictures look like. I know what everyday pictures look like, and I know you somewhere sick. Tell the people.
Right. And the fact that she said, you know what, I really need to tell my friends. Now that right there, if that's not right, if that's not a good check as a good friend, yo, we was just hanging out. I'm sick. You might want to go right now.
Integrity. So,
that's real. That's definitely
that was a
something you need
devastating
to do.
testimony. That was a devastating testimony, because you're talking about her eyes hurt, her head hurt, her body hurt, her injury hurt.
And the thing is, I've seen another young lady. She had it too. Another young lady I follow. She has a strong following, and she had did a webinar like literally the day before. I think that she ended up finally going to take the test, and then she was gone off of Instagram for like almost 3 weeks. And like basically when we was on the webinar, she couldn't see and all these things, and she was like, "Oh, all I did was just go to the grocery store, and I've been at home." Like, girl, I seen you having house parties. Yeah, you was at home, but 5 of your friends were over there too, and y'all was smoking the hookah.
Yeah, and like you said, Keisha, it was this is the part that hurt my heart, Cass. Did you see her face change when she said, "I gave it to my mom"? Like her whole tone changed after that. It was just
I mean, that's no joke.
And a lot of people don't think about that. That's why I've been staying away from my sons, because I told y'all that's been the hardest thing for me. I got big kids. They're 18, 21. They've been wanting to go. My son like, oh, just me and my friend. Okay, just you and your friend. Well, listen, I have a master on a maid, and they live upstairs. And guess what? I've been like, stay away from me 6 feet. I need 6 feet from you.
You know what I'm saying? And while we on 10, let's go ahead and go to reports right now. I believe that Keisha is ready. And
yeah, but where we going? Who we going with? King James? Oh.
So let's kick things off. Starting off, big ups, Yara Shahidi and her mother. They actually have a production company, and together their production company is called Seventh Son. So they've signed a deal with ABC Studios to develop some content, some scripted and unscripted projects. And they will be, you know, touching on subjects of history, culture, and heritage to elevate underrepresented populations. So big ups to them. I always love Yara Shahidi, and she speaks so intelligently. She's always uplifting the community. So I'm looking forward to what kind of, you know, content and, you know, series they'll put out. Up next, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, with it being Minority Mental Health Month. There are some reports, you know, out right now, you know, speaking about Tamar Bracken's alleged, you know, suicide attempt. And it's now being reported that she is responsive, and that she is being transported to an annex facility that focuses on mental health and everything like that. So we, you know, are keeping her in our prayers and hoping that she's getting the help that she needs. So we're definitely.
And I think Cassie, wasn't she found unconscious or?
Yeah, so she had been transported to the hospital after, I think, being found, you know, unconscious. So we're definitely sending her prayers and everything to her family and making sure, hoping that she gets well soon.
And see,
and, you know, go ahead.
Her money didn't change that. Money didn't change the fact that she still was sick. You know what I'm saying? All they did was make her not want to do it at home. You know what I'm saying? So she went and got a room, you know what I'm saying, with her money. That didn't change her mind.
Drop the mic.
And even still, you know, the Braxton family, we know it was a very tight-knit family, and everything like that. So definitely, like we keep saying, it's Minority Mental Health Month, not just this month, but every month. You know, definitely check on your loved ones. You know, if you notice things that are a little off, make sure you take that extra mile, call them, you know, ask them if they're in need of help, you know, discuss everyday life, because it's real out here. You know, you may not see it, but it's very real. Up next, we have some good news. Nicki Minaj is pregnant. She made this announcement yesterday with a series of maternity shoot photos, you know, obviously bringing out the iconic Nicki, colorful hair, you know, big outfits. So shout out to her showing off her belly. She's married to Kenneth Petty together, so they're welcoming a baby soon. So we want to congratulate her.
Who's the father?
Kenneth Petty. We're not going to get into that. Congratulations to her. Motherhood is a very exciting journey. Up next, we have birthday, some more exciting news. Damian Marley celebrating his 42nd birthday today. So we want to shout him out, wishing him happy birthday. And everyone else out there, enjoy your day. Stay safe. And that's it for my report.
We got balloons, yeah. The cake is on the way. We got the music playing, cause it's your holiday. Woo! We invited family, and everybody came. I strike a pose for me like you in a picture frame. You got your finest clothes on, and $1 million smile. So we gon' celebrate you for a while. And don't forget we got the candles. When you away, don't forget we got the candles. Happy birthday, gonna celebrate you for a while. Candles, blowing you away. Wait. Candles. Happy birthday, happy girl. So
I know, right?
So happy birthday to everyone out there celebrating. Sending y'all light and love today.
Folks out there.
I think we got some other reports up?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Who's up
who's
next?
going?
Yes. So, in addition to Nicki Minaj being pregnant, we got DJ Duffy announced her pregnancy, I believe, just one day before Nicki Minaj. So we got some celebrities out here making some quarantine babies. Romeo.
Who did that?
Oh my goodness.
I just trying to make sure my name don't pop up. Okay, keep going.
Don't do that.
Is
So
there
the
something-
celebrities is out here, you know, they are making babies in this quarantine. People are in the house. They have a lot of free time. So we got some celebrity babies coming, and they both have some extremely beautiful maternity photo shoots, and they really went it all in high fashion. That was absolutely amazing. I think next, what we got coming up next?
Yeah, well, you know, I have my reports going on, and yes, it's getting hot out here. We have Fox News, basically. We know that there's a culture of sexism and debauchery going on at the station of the conservative and the alt-right. Basically, we have Fox News anchors, let's see, Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, and Howard Kurtz have been named in a lawsuit for everything ranging from sexual harassment to actual rape. And so this speaks to a culture where everything is loose, not only the truth, not only morality, but also sexuality. Now, we already know that in the past few years, famous, probably the most famous of all time at Fox News, Bill O'Reilly, was already fired. And we know that the owner of Fox News, and his name was Roger Ailes, he was fired. He was the president. He was the CEO. So basically, we have cultivated an ambiance where they thought it was okay to basically sexually harass and even sexually assault their female counterparts. And it's all starting to catch up with them now. I don't know why it didn't come out. There you go. Time's up. I don't know why it didn't come out during the Me Too movement, but you know what? Better late than never. And if you did the crime, you need to do the time. And it looks like Bill Cosby needs some roommates because, you know what I'm saying? In my opinion, Bill Cosby is in jail. He is where he's supposed to be, but he's not supposed to be alone. He needs some roommates. So let's go ahead and gather them up.
And speaking of harassing women in the workplace, you know, from one Keisha to another, wear your mask.
There you go.
Wear your mask.
Wear your mask.
Easy.
Wear your mask. Matter of fact,
very easy.
One Keisha speaking for another Keisha. Wear your mask.
Yeah, exactly.
And
unfortunately, we don't have such a contraptment for women to guard themselves against the claws of these perverts at this news station. So it kind of speaks to, if they're doing this loose, then what about the truth? What about what they're reporting on? So yeah, this is a situation that's developing, and so we'll see how this turns out. We already know that Mr. What is his name? Let me get his name. Mr. Tucker Carlson, who now has the highest rated news show of all time on cable, that his top writer already resigned because he was posting racist things on other sites.
Right.
And he was his main writer, his number one boy. So there's a lot going on at Fox News right now, and it speaks to the divisions in this country that we find ourselves in this position right now. So moving on to my next segment of my report. Okay, so Vice President Joe Biden went on MSNBC and talked to Joy Reid. Congratulations out to her because that was her first show. She's a sister and she's on MSNBC, the first one to get her show. And she was talking, and Joe Biden was talking about the four main people who are vice presidential candidates, and they are California Senator Kamala Harris, Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, Florida Rep Val Dennings, and California Rep Karen Bass. Also, Stacey Abrams, who's a former Georgia State Senator, who barely lost to Cassidy's governor, Brian Kemp. And so this is going to be interesting. Political pundits are saying right now that it seems highly unlikely that he will pick a black woman. There are some that are saying that because of the times that we're in, and they just want to guarantee that he wins, and they want a winnable ticket, a viable ticket. Yeah. We'll have to see how that turns out. But these are the people that are under consideration only. He said he's not picked anyone. He's not saying any names. He said only, and it's only a couple weeks away.
King James, I want to give you my vote. I like Kamala. I like her.
Oh, Kamala? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw that Yeah, I like her.
Oh, okay.
Some powerful sisters.
Fishing again.
Yeah, and why do you like her? Give me a reason.
Always.
I think no, ladies. I actually watched the debate. I think that she actually had an even platform when it came to regulating certain laws when it came to marijuana and regulating new police criteria. So I actually watched Ladies, and I actually love her platform.
And she was actually the only other person who was running, during this time.
I think she's the most popular.
Well, she is.
I think Stacey Abrams is more popular, isn't she? No.
I think it's.
I don't know.
I think it goes in waves. Like I thought it started out with Kamala Harris, then it went on to Stacey Abrams, and now I actually think that the most popular is Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. So we'll have to see. She's a powerful woman. She is running that thing in Georgia, and she even is going up against a personal lawsuit. It's not even a professional lawsuit; it's a personal lawsuit filed by Governor Brian Kemp. How do you file a personal lawsuit in these tumultuous times with resources and money scarce? And you're going to waste it on a personal lawsuit?
Harassment of the women in the workplace.
Right. Because he did not file a lawsuit against the black male who's the mayor of Savannah, who put down the mandate on masks long before Keisha did. Keisha said on CNN that she deliberately waited to see what other cities were doing. When they did it, she did it, but now she's got the lawsuit. I think it has to do with
the lawsuit.
I think it has to do.
It's a mess.
Yeah, it is a mess.
Ridiculous.
It is.
Because the CDC has said quickly, I'm just going to say, CDC said if we wear masks for 6 weeks, that we can drive this virus into the ground. So it's really so simple. I don't know why there's such a debate on what science is saying. I'm not really sure what the deal is. But like we mentioned earlier, now we're seeing certain people put on masks who are so anti-mask because numbers are increasing. If you're a leader and you have followers and supporters, they will follow your lead. It's really simple.
Exactly. Right now, the only person that's patriotic in here is Keisha. We need to up our patriotism, Romeo and Cass.
I got my mask.
Oh, okay.
Right there when I'm ready to head out the door.
Oh, okay. All right. Now on to my next report, my next segment. Yes, this is a dynamic person. She is the person that has been picked by the Democratic Party to replace the irreplaceable, the venerated, the revered, late legendary Representative John Lewis, who just died on Friday. And she has been picked to fill his seat, not fill his shoes, fill his seat. Because she even said it is impossible to fill his shoes. John Lewis is just such a unique, dynamic, larger than life. His head belongs on Mount Everest of political activists in this history. He is just he was just a lovable man. But anyway, she has been picked. So her name is State Senator Nikema Williams, and right now she's already been known because if we can see the other photo, she was arrested in 2018. She basically followed the advice of John Lewis in about getting into good trouble because she was arrested in 2018 when she was protesting the results of the gubernatorial race in Georgia, which we all know was full of corruption and voting irregularities. That Governor Brian Kemp, barely won over Stacey Abrams, and he cheated to get it. So she is dynamic, and so we'll just have to see if she's able to go ahead and take that seat. But it's over Atlanta, which is predominantly African American, so her chances are pretty good at this particular juncture. Okay. Go ahead.
I think they were saying they were going to put her in, and then they were saying that they thought it would be fair for the person to step down and allow people to vote her in. But I also love that she said, I'm going to take the seat, but I definitely can't fill the shoes.
Right. Yeah. And I'm also glad that she followed in the footsteps of John Lewis. She went ahead and got herself into good trouble, which is a legendary phrase that he used. Good trouble. She got arrested, and she went ahead and protested what she believed in was a corrupt Georgia gubernatorial race. But you know what? Everything is coming back because right now, Stacey Abrams is probably saying, whoo, I'm glad I didn't become governor. Look at what we got. So anyway, go ahead.
This is because somebody asked, and Keisha keep giving me that look. This is the reason I keep laughing and smiling. Like, when I hear these stories, I think about everything going on in the world.
Yes,
and like Cassidy just said, like I'm laughing because we arguing about a mask. And then I look at the young lady and she got arrested for protesting. Like the most minuscule thing on the freaking planet. Like I'm looking at this stuff now like, this got to be like the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, it is. You know what I'm saying? I cannot believe that the country politicized a virus. They didn't politicize the virus 100 years ago when the Spanish flu destroyed like 300 million people across the planet in 1918. So it's basically 102 years ago that this happened. And this day, this is how we've advanced as a people, is that we politicize a pandemic, a virus. I can't believe it. We politicize a mask. But as we can see, your president, Romeo, has now endorsed it. So
he belongs to Cassidy.
Oh, okay. We'll give him to Cassidy. Okay. I
He
believe
belongs in the dump.
All right.
Let's just say that we can hope that now all of his supporters will follow in suit.
Okay, go to Facebook.
Exactly. Hold on a second.
They won't be going to Walmart.
Yeah, I believe I have one more. If that's correct, I believe I put up 4. So let's go ahead and take care of that right quick, and I'll be quick. Okay. This is actually not very funny, but it goes on along, I believe, with Keisha's report about it, or Cass's report in regards to this being Minority Mental Health Month. And Kanye West has some extremely disturbing emails yesterday, calling himself the character in Get Out. He said, y'all know that Get Out was about me. And he said that, I'm not going to let my children be filmed in Playboy. I'm right here. Come get me. He said that his wife, Kim Kardashian, tried to fly somebody over to Wyoming where he is, a doctor to have him institutionalized. So it's just a mess right now. And then at the end, he put in a tweet that said, "I'm just going to focus on music now." Well, I guess so. You know what I'm saying? What else can you focus on? So he has new music actually coming out this Friday. So this is a joke.
What?
Yeah, he said I saw it last night. He has new music that's going to come out this weekend on Friday. So
wait, he had a rally
on Sunday.
And now he having an album release
on Friday.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What?
Romeo, hit us up with Facebook, man, while you enjoying yourself. Help us enjoy the comments that are coming on Facebook.
Okay, I'm sorry, Keisha.
It's all good.
Ludnina Harvey says, it's great to know that younger generations taking life serious. Pat is jumped in, man. We love Pat. She said, great interview. Good morning from Jacinda Jen. Also, Barbara Field says, get tested. I am a nurse. I take my job seriously. I preach and pray to my family, friends, and loved ones. Seriously, this is real. And we got much more, so we shout out to everybody. But let's go back to the comedy hour. King James.
Yeah. No. Keisha was handling it in terms of. But first, before I go to Keisha, I just want to say that I'm sending and I'm blessing Kanye West and Tamara Braxton and Nick Cannon, who also has put out some tweets that are very peculiar and scary in terms because his friend committed suicide. Yeah. And he actually articulated on Twitter that maybe, look, goodbye, Earth. Y'all can have this. That to me is a suicidal message. So to all the people out there who are suffering with mental health, and it's been exacerbated during this pandemic and this shutdown of America, I bless you with love. And please go check on people who having problems. Are having problems. Keisha, the floor is yours.
I just was going to say that I'm just happy to hear that Kim tried to do something, but I'm going to need her to do something. I'm not going to need her to try to send somebody. I'm going to need them to send somebody to get your man.
I'm gonna need my wife to get on the goddamn plane. I'm sorry. I'm going to need my wife to get on the plane to come check me. That's what I'm going to need.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. That's very true. She can go check him, but she can't force him into You know,
Yeah,
Kanye's a grown man. She can't force him into getting help.
Yeah,
that's not how the medical, you know, that's not how it works.
Nah, he's a very strong will.
She can talk to him, but he's, you know, in control of his, you know, I assume he's in control of his medical choices as an adult.
Yeah, you can't.
Once you're 18, you know, even your parents can't make you get help.
No, all you can do is check on them.
Yeah.
All you can do is check on them and spread love. That's it. You cannot help somebody who don't want to be helped or doesn't think they need help. And he's a very proud, even if arrogant, strong-willed, and very stubborn personality. He won't go unless he wants to. But on to better subjects right now, and I yield the floor to Cass.
We have a really exciting guest. I'm super excited to welcome Justin Schaefer, STEM education specialist. You know, Justin, you do a lot of incredible things. I'm just going to run through a couple of them. You are a LinkedIn top voice in technology. You are, you know, you went to Hampton University, HBCU, but you had a scholarship from NASA and the NOAA, which is huge. And then you're also the founder and director of Fascinate, Inc., this nonprofit that partners with organizations such as Microsoft, Google, and all these things to help underrepresented students, you know, in STEM careers. So I'm really excited to have you on. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Appreciate you, Cass. And what's going on, y'all? Happy to provide some insight into what I do and why what I do is important, and in the terms of empowering Black community, empowering people of color. Because I think, you know, a lot of times people look at what I do and they're like, oh, okay, it's just a nerd spreading love for nerds. But it's actually, you know, for me, this is the future of society, right? All the jobs that are rising in the future are STEM related: artificial intelligence, electrical engineering, you know, anything dealing with computer science. And these are the careers that a lot of times Black folks, for whatever reason, are averse to. And so, you know, I made it my mission, because I grew up in the South Side of Chicago. I grew up in a place where this wasn't perceived as cool, to make it cool and approachable and engaging for kids that look like us.
Wow. So tell us just a little bit about your intro to technology, because a lot of people, you know, we have a phone, you know, we have internet, but in the tech space, you kind of have to have this, you know, formal introduction for you to really say, this is something I'm interested in.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that for you.
You know, for me, I'm sorry, you had something to say, Romeo?
No, I was saying Georgia Tech. Keep going.
Yeah, so, you know, for me, you know, I think it started out with a love, a secret love. You know, it was something that I was always kind of the kid that liked science. I kind of liked building and messing around with computers, but growing up on the South Side of Chicago, it just wasn't perceived as something that people did. And so, you know, for most of my life, up until I was probably 17, 18 years old, I kept that secret. I wasn't one of the kids that really went to a bunch of like science camps or, you know, had a bunch of those opportunities. What actually happened though is I came across my grandfather's patent. So I was raised by a single parent. I didn't know that my grandfather on my father's side was an engineer. Like I heard that he was an engineer, but I thought that maybe meant like he's a train conductor or something like that. Like I didn't really know what it meant.
Yeah, so, exactly, yeah.
And so I finally came across his patent that he held for an early circuit in the VCR. And so what that did was, it was like, whoa, wait a minute. This is in my blood. Like this is in my genes. Like I can build stuff. I can be one of these people. Maybe this is why I'm so interested in it. And so I went to Hampton University in VA. And, you know, I majored in marine environmental science, ocean science. And I just realized that I could take that and do anything with it. So, I mean, the story is much longer than that, but that's a quick overview.
Absolutely. So I also wanted to ask you, so you received this scholarship from NASA and you attended Hampton University. So I went to Howard University, no beef, love HBCUs, but why was it important for you to, you know, attend HBCU, you know, when you could have attended any university?
Man, I really feel like, and you know, yeah, it's definitely, you know, when folks look at us now, they see the same thing. If they're, you know, whether it's Howard or Hampton. So yeah, no beef, you know, but if you want to talk offline about that, we can have a conversation. But, you know, for me, like growing up in Chicago, you know, I didn't really feel like I was adequately exposed to the notion of Black excellence, you know, like seeing just amazing Black people from all socioeconomic statuses, all walks of life. And I remember like not being the best student or not being the most high achieving kid. And a lot of times I blame that on where I was from, or, because I had a single mom. And when I went to an HBCU, I found real role models that were actually in these spaces that had similar backgrounds to mine, that had achieved what I perceived to be Black excellence. I'm like, yo, where are you from? They're like, oh yeah, I'm from Detroit. I come from a single parent household. I'm like, whoa. So, going to an HBCU created that competitively collaborative environment for me with Black people, so that I had no excuses but to point the finger at myself and say, it's up to me to be dope,
Right. That's real. That's one of the best things about HBCU experiences, and why I tell people, like, you just get that sense of community, like everyone, it's like competition, but it's love at the same time, and it just pushes you forward. So I love that. You are, you founded and you executive direct Fascinate Inc., which is this nonprofit. So tell us a little bit about that and what inspired you to create this.
So for me, again, this is something that I realized was not present. I looked for a way to engage kids that look like me in these kind of things. And I felt like there were some people that had taken initiative, but a lot of times they kind of half did it. They were a full-time engineer, and then they part-time did like science communication, or they did science videos. I was like, you know what? Someone needs to like really take on this responsibility. And so, I worked in tech for a year, and then I had a moment with a kid when I was working in tech. I was volunteering in museums, and this young Black kid, he's 9 years old, and I was explaining the science behind carbon, pollution in the atmosphere to him, but in a way that like was familiar to him, because he felt like the museum was kind of dry. And so he was like, yo, man, what do you do? And I was like, I'm a scientist, man. He's like, I want to be a scientist like you when I grow up. And he daps me up and shakes my hand. I'm like, whoa, like, okay, this is actually something that, I've never seen that. I never saw anything like this when I was a kid. So how can I scale this up? And so we have a bunch of projects that we're doing now that, 3 or 4 years after that moment, that, we're doing that. We're reaching kids at scale.
So what, you mentioned this young kid, what advice do you have for, young people like who are from Black communities like Chicago, like you're from, about the field of technology? Like, what message you have to them, like, who aren't even thinking about this, like how they can get into this space, since you say this is the future? Right.
And I think, when I first got into this space, I felt like the kids didn't see how important this was, but I think they really do now. They understand someone had to build this app that you're making, or that you're spending all your time on. Someone had to build YouTube. And, they have these idols a lot of times, like Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk at Tesla. So they see how important it is, but they consume it constantly. They consume technology constantly. But I always talk to kids about, like, how much more powerful would it be if you could produce these things instead of consuming them? And the cool thing is, if you have an internet connection, this information is at your fingertips. You literally just have to be disciplined, and you can build your own portfolio of like, you can learn the code for free online right now. And you can get paid a 6-figure salary with 5 months of coding experience if you dedicate yourself with enough time. So I always tell kids, like, when I walk into schools and I'm speaking to kids, I'm like, how many of y'all want to make money? And of course, 100% of the kids raise their hands. And I'm like, okay, well, STEM careers are the highest paying jobs. The average person that gets out into college and goes into a STEM career makes almost double what the average household income is in America. Wow. So you're coming out of a STEM job and you're getting paid, and so, but the thing about STEM people is that a lot of times, and this is a stereotype, they say we're low key, we're humble, we're introverts, we don't talk, we research, we don't flex. So, a lot of these STEM dudes are making 150, STEM women making 150, 300,000 on the low. And, they haven't ever said anything about it because that's not their persona. And so, what I realized is that someone needs to glamorize that for these kids. And that's why I created Mr. Fascinate and, all the other work that we've done. Right.
No, that's 100% real, because, people, kids idolize like what they can see, and, they want to live these lifestyles, and it's the people who are putting it out there who they're like, yeah, I want those things. But like you said, you guys do it very low key. So that's real. So I think it's important that you're saying, like, we make this much money too, it's just not, publicized. But I want you to talk about Mr. Fascinate. we actually have a video because you have this show coming up, and you can talk a little bit about it, and we have like this trailer from your Instagram. But just tell us a little bit about what inspired you to create this, because it's a cartoon character, and you're trying to reach those kids. So what made you come up with this idea?
You know, I was on a bunch of Zoom calls like this, and I realized, man, if I was a kid, I would probably hate being on a Zoom call, just listening to talking heads all day, like the monotony of it, on and on. Everyone's just talking all the time. And, you know, how can I switch this up? I was like, how can I use my STEM acumen to do something different for the kids? And so, you know, what I actually have a lot of experience creating animations and cartoons. So what I was able to do is reverse engineer, and this is a STEM thing. I was able to reverse engineer that software, and then what I can do now is broadcast my cartoon characters live. So I can actually, if we have time, I can hop on and as Mr. Fascinate, the cartoon character, and I can show you guys a little demo of that in the Zoom call. And so, you know, with that, I will be able to produce a whole production for kids, and then they'll be able to do Q&As with each of the different characters I have when I change my voice and things like that.
Oh my goodness. So we have the video like from your Instagram. So we're going to pull that up now just so people can get an idea.
What's going on, folks? Mr. Fascinate here, and this week we're taking things in a different direction. In light of recent events, I'll be telling you about 3 shocking times when Black people were exploited for science. Number 1, Tuskegee syphilis experiments. In a 40-year study by the United States Public Health Service, 600 African-American men, 399 who contracted syphilis, agreed to partake in the study under the guise that they would be receiving free health care from the federal government. After funding was lost, the study was continued and the men were never treated, even after 1947, when the antibiotic penicillin became a standard treatment. The study continued until 1972, when a press leak resulted in its termination. Number 2, Henrietta Lacks. Henrietta, a Black woman who visited a doctor's office for cervical cancer, had her cells harvested without her consent. They were later discovered to possess the unique ability to continue growing forever. HeLa cells, finally named after Lacks, have been reproduced billions of times and saved hundreds of thousands of lives. Lacks' family has yet to receive any compensation from the science institutions that profited from their usage. Number 3, J. Marion Sims. J. Marion Sims, known as the founder of gynecology, was a strong proponent of slavery. In order to make advances in treating vesicovaginal fistulas that revolutionized the field, he operated on at least 10 slave women from 1846 to 1849, without anesthesia. Of course, all of this info is only the tip of the massive iceberg of history that Black people have experienced due to scientific practices.
Right. So that one, Cassidy, is for a little bit more of a mature audience, but the cartoon show I'm doing. So there's also a 1-minute video on my page about that one. It's for younger kids, for grades 1 through 8. So that one is a little bit less intense and a little bit more laid back and fun. But you know, that one was a recent video that did pretty well about exploitation of Black people in science, which is one reason that we actually are not really that engaged in science as a community.
No, yeah, I think that's what you did is really important there, because you kind of brought history into it. With everything that's going on right now, it was really important to highlight, you know, Black people and how they've been mistreated in this field and, you know, not acknowledged. So that's amazing. I want you to tell people where they can follow you, where they can find your cartoon, which actually aired yesterday, correct?
So the cartoon show is actually going to air on the 27th. So next Monday, that's when it's coming out. And you can find more info on that at livecartoonshow.com. And that's where you can get tickets. And, you know, it's great for the kids, great for the family, really cool opportunity there. If you Google search, and this is a STEM thing, it's called search engine optimization, SEO. If you Google search Justin STEM, I'm gonna hold first 3 or 4 pages of that. So you can find everything you need to find, whether it's my Instagram. My Instagram is Mr. Fascinate, but if you just want to find everything, Justin STEM, and I got the first 3 or 4 pages of that.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I love everything you're doing. You know, keep going forward. You're doing some amazing work. So we appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you, Cass, and thanks again for the invite.
No problem. Take care.
All right, take it easy.
So yeah, that was Justin Schaefer. you know, he's doing some incredible things. Young guy in tech. He's, encouraging young people to get involved and showing them that this is a life that they can, pursue. You're on mute, Keisha.
He's really smart. Stop shaking your head, Romeo.
No, I was about to tell Cass. That was great. That was great, Cass. That was really. Facebook. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, please go to Facebook.
Facebook checking in. Ann Whitley says, "Hey everybody, good morning. Love y'all." Iris Baker says she commented on King James. She says Kanye does have a lot of things. He does do a lot of things for attention, but I really believe that he needs help at this moment. And shout out to everybody else checking in on this morning Tuesday.
Yeah, thanks for everybody who is shouting out to us and supporting us on Rolling Out AM Wake Up Call. Please continue, and also going on to the website at rollingout.com. And I yield the floor to our queen, Keisha.
Well, you know what? I just think that everything that's been going on, I think our show here today was so phenomenal. Justin with the STEM and everything, he's smart in the cartoon character because the kids they do get a little bit bored and thrown off. I'm just like, wow. And Mr. Green that we had on here today.
Right.
Yes. And the young lady sharing her story with.
Yeah, his name is Ronnie Green. For those who didn't know, he's a black fisherman. Mm-hmm. He's one of the very few. He's like a meteor sighting in the sky. He's like one of the few professional black fishermen who's actually making a living at it. He's won tournaments, and he's using it as a platform to spread the love of God and spread love to one another and to mentor young people. He is just a superstar. That dude is a star. Ronnie Green, shout out to him on Rolling Out AM Wake Up Call. And please, audience, when you do support us, share us on your FB pages as well. You know what I'm saying? Show us some love. But now we are going back to Romeo International's report. What you got for us?
All right, so this is what I got. And shout out to Cass again, because before me and King James got abruptly thrown off, I was going to say that the one thing I loved about your guest is the fact that he did bring up the point about making stuff like that cool. And making technology cool. I think a lot of people don't think it's cool, but if you make it cool to them, it's an easier transition. To the social report, man. First up on the docket, my man Juice WRLD, who passed away from overdose. He actually, and this is so sad, like Pop Smoke. I want y'all to remember this. So a few days ago, Pop Smoke became the third hip-hop artist in history to have a #1 on Billboard after his death. Juice WRLD joins Drake and the Beatles to only have 5 songs in Billboard Top 10 after his death. This album he just released is a phenomenal album. I encourage everybody to go take a listen. It is phenomenal, and I am so sad that within his passing, he's now receiving all these accolades, and it's just crazy.
Yeah. And just to reiterate how rare this is. You're talking about the greatest acts of all times, from Michael Jackson to Prince to Madonna to Whitney Houston to just so many, internationally known artists who have never accomplished this feat. And so that's incredible, and it is incredible and sad at the same time, because we are finding out just how great he is after he died because of some jealousy or something frivolous. I bet when we find out, because they've already been arrested, and when we find out why he was murdered, it's going to be something so trivial. That's pathetic.
Next up on the docket, we finna play with Wherever We Go, I'm gonna go. So, let's talk about the young black girl. Michigan judge denies the 15-year-old black girl who's been in jail since mid-May for not doing her online homework. This is what I'm going to say about this as they 2 cents. If I ever in life go to jail for not doing my homework in life, please slap me. Like, who? What?
I'd slap you.
What you in here for?
Yeah, she want to slap you anyway. But I think that I think it's just really we have to give a little backstory, because she was on probation. You know what I'm saying? and she had one of the conditions of her release, early release, was that she had to do her homework and other conditions that she has apparently violated. And so basically the judge said, I gave you a chance. I told you to do these certain things, including your homework, and you didn't do it. So we're sending
the
you
homework.
Back, you know what I'm saying?
I'm 15.
You know how many kids haven't did the online homework? They didn't even use the online homework against the kid.
I'm 15.
15 and just. I know she was on probation, but I heard she was doing some other crazy stuff too that she should have been going to jail for, like assaulting her mom.
Yeah, and that's where the sympathy goes out the window, because you know what I'm saying? Because I know my mother and my father.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. And if this is true that she assaulted her own mother in a home that her mother pays for, come on, you know what I'm saying? No, you don't get no sympathy from me. And then all you had to do to stay out was to do your homework, and you didn't even do that.
I hope her mom been working out, because she been in the yard all that time.
I hope this video is loaded. I'm not sure what's next, but I want y'all to see this. Wherever you go next, I'm gonna go, because we don't know where you're gonna go until you take us there. So where you taking us right now? Those who shall not be named. Where we going? I'm protecting myself. Allegedly, those who shall not be named. What we got?
They allegedly.
Yeah. What we got coming up next? All right, so check this out before you play it. So I want y'all to check this out. This video is a clip from one of the NBA basketball players who plays for the 76ers, who does a daily vlog. And I took the clip of what they have, Cass, in the city to help protect them from coronavirus. Check this out, and I'll explain.
Watch it because you won't be in there. Is it good?
Yep. Well, must try one more time.
That's like yourself. Good job, T.
Check this out. Now, y'all heard earlier from Danny what everyday people have to go through. The NBA actually has a wristband. This wristband is similar to a Apple Watch or a Fitbit, right? The wristband monitors your temperature. So as they're moving around in the bubble, each room that they go into, there's the green or red light you saw. They actually have to hold it up to that for that to determine whether or not they are capable of coming into the room, because they're monitored step by step by step in every room, in every practice. So that's the first test. Then, as you can see, once they get a green light, then they move on to the second set of testing, where they actually have to go through the process of swabs and swipes and stuff like that. Now, what blew me away, a few weeks ago, me, King James, and Cassidy was joking about the ring. They didn't get the ring.
Those people have.
Yeah, they got the watch.
Wristband. So it's interesting to me, and we know it's the NBA. I get it, King James, but it's so interesting to me that the level of protection that they are going from room to freaking room is amazing.
Why are these people getting sick at the White House?
Oh, you took it there, didn't you? You took it there, Keisha.
Let's go, Keisha. Like,
what, Keisha? And that's the thing. That's the thing that's I think that's turning the tide against that person on Pennsylvania Avenue, is because of the simple fact that the infrastructure is astounding when you talk about what's going on Pennsylvania Avenue and with the NBA and other sports leagues. And we can't even get a test within 14 days. We heard our guests talk about how long it took for her to get that test back. We are the richest, most powerful country in the world, and we can't get our common citizens a test back within a few days. But these people can get it instantaneously.
Room to room.
The chasm between the haves and the haves not is vast. That's a shame, though. That's a shame.
Very much so.
The NBA got the green light special going.
The green light is better than the red light special.
So I wonder how long, and I'll keep y'all updated because I'm wondering. The NBA player hasn't posted his next vlog, but I really got in tune to it because I actually watched how they are watching them and monitoring them, you know, from their bedroom to the dining hall to the practice room, other room. And like I said, it just amazed me that in this vlog, every single room that they went into, they had to hold their wrist to the monitor. And the first thing that popped up in my head was, wow, if it's that simple for how many players in King James? Is it over 300 something NBA players?
Yeah, about that. Plus the staff. So you're talking about 1,000 people. You're talking about 1,000 people total. Yeah.
Correct.
With a GPS on them.
Yes.
But I ain't gonna say nothing else. I'm good.
I thought you was gonna say it reminded you of like the Mark of the Beast or something.
No.
I just thought that's what you were gonna say. I'm sorry. I thought that's what you were gonna say.
That is one of the theories that are floating out there. As we all know on Facebook, there are many theories being promulgated, but that is definitely one of them that somehow this is beginning of the Mark of the Beast. But you know what I'm saying? But I just want to go back to, you know, his point about the infrastructure. We need to up the infrastructure in especially our most assaulted, our most besieged cities or states. Texas, Florida, California. You got to get them now. And we had the great governor of New York in Savannah yesterday, taking a seat with him on C-SPAN, CNN, and he had the worst. He went from the worst to the first. He went from the worst, and now he's the best. We need to follow the model of New York and up the infrastructure in these states. And that's all I got to say. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. I mean,
so we're gonna go
to positive thoughts.
We're gonna go into the positive thoughts. Yeah, we're gonna go to the positive thoughts, and I'll go ahead and get started, and then I'll pass the ball. My positive thought is Romeo's outstanding guest, giving her personal testimony. Repeat her name, Daniela. So shout out to her for withstanding it and getting through it and willing to share her testimony. It just goes to confirm that I was doing the right thing, staying in the house, wearing a mask, keeping social distance, even though people and my neighbors and my friends were looking at me funny. Go ahead and follow your internal compass. Do what you know is right to do. Listen to the science. And I will pass the ball over to Queen Keisha.
All right, thanks for that, King James. And I actually was going to say a lot like what you said. I was going to say, listen, no matter what is being said, use your insight, intuition to know what you should be doing. And look at wearing a mask as a part of your self-care to make sure that you're taking care of you. I'm going to pass the ball over to Cass.
My positive thought of the day is there is not one journey to success. You know, you may think one path is the right way, but the other may be the right path for you. So don't close out any opportunity. Pass it to Romeo.
Thou shalt not be disinsensitive. If Cass in the City is telling you yesterday that babies are contracting it. If Danny today told you that she's 24 and she's contracted it. If older people are contracting it, ladies and gentlemen who keep saying that this is a hoax your ass to the goddamn, excuse my language, to the hospital and take a test.
Well, good morning, everybody. And obviously, it's been a rocky road. Obviously, some people need to really just put on a mask and go fishing.
Shout out to Ronnie Green.
Shout out to Ronnie Green, Terry, for sure. But, you know, the whole idea of what Rodney reminded me of is just how peaceful it is to sit still.
Ronnie.
What fishermen can do often is sit still and relax in the midst of a storm, be on the side of a bank. You know, I was listening to Terry, and Terry was talking about a boat. I used to enjoy the boat fishing, Terry, but when I was with my grandfather, but I didn't enjoy it as much as when we just were on the bank. Because when I was on the bank, I could just fall asleep. I never wanted to fall asleep in the boat. Our boat wasn't a yacht. So, you know, and I was there with two young, older guys, and they had their half pints in their back pocket, and they were just fishing. So always enjoy being on the bank where I could eat and I could just kind of like act like I wanted to fish, but really fall asleep. I like the activities surrounding fishing more than I like putting hooks on worms. And it's fun, but not really, because I think the worm never had a good time, and I didn't have and lures weren't much better, So there are things regarding fishing but it's so peaceful just to go sit by the side of the bank or sit by. Check out Hbcu at 6 for us. I want to thank Cassidy in the city. I want to thank Miss Green and, of course, King James. Great day to all of you, to Romeo International with his Thou Shall. At any rate, we don't want to tell you what to do today. We're going to give you a pass. Positive thought is be positive. No matter what you do today, think positive. No matter what you do, thou shall be positive. So understand that's the commandment of the day. So for all of us here at Rolling Out AM, the wake up call from Cass in the City, First King James, Keisha Green, and Romeo International. Peace.
Y'all have a great day, man. RollingOut.com right now. Check out all the newest, hottest stories right now. Now.
Peace.